wondering how you can use herbal medicine during the breastfeeding years? Today we're going to talk about 4 simple steps you can take to feel confident using herbal medicine now during the nursing years and beyond when new symptoms arise. If we haven't met, welcome to my channel. I'm Gregorio, certified women's herbal educator and mama of twins. And on this channel we talk about natural remedies for women and children's health. So if you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of my new video each Tuesday. I've helped hundreds of women integrate natural remedies, and now it's your turn. Head over to my blog post, taragregorio.com, to learn more. So this one video is part of a 4-part series to help you feel more confident and comfortable using herbal medicine during the breastfeeding years. Whether it's a few months or a few years, I will help you feel comfortable integrating these herbal remedies to reduce things like anxiety, depression, mastitis, to do it fast and efficiently with natural remedies. Don't forget to always check with your doctor before adding any medication or herbal medicine, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. So let's get started. Number 1, do you or your child's father have an allergy? The most common allergen might be chamomile, which funny enough is the #1 botanical to start using during the breastfeeding years. So it will help you with bloating and digestion and your baby with colic. But if you or your child's father has an allergy to chamomile, you're going to avoid that botanical and the other botanicals that fall under the Asteraceae family. So that includes echinacea as well. But keep in mind, even though you have an allergy to the flowers per se, you might be able to find an echinacea root tincture that would work for you. So it's important to learn about each botanical, each product that you're purchasing, and where your allergy is. So if you have an allergy, just go ahead, write that down, and then those are the botanicals that you will avoid during the breastfeeding years and probably beyond. So allergies are the #1 concern. The other botanical that might cause a problem is milky oat tops. So some say those with celiac or gluten sensitivity will have difficulty with milky oat tops. Personally, I haven't found that. I'm gluten sensitive. I drink the milky oat top tea. But that's something else to be aware of, that if you have any reaction, and at the end of this video, we're going to talk about the adverse reactions that you may encounter. So if you have any reaction, then you just avoid that botanical. Number 2, are you taking medication? So medication and herbal medicine don't always work together, although sometimes they can. So you'll always check with your doctor, number 1, if you're taking medication. The biggest herb-drug interaction would be St. John's wort with SSRIs, so just keep that in mind. It doesn't mean you can't use it, but you want to work with a professional privately to work through coming off the SSRIs and going on to herbal medicine. The biggest herb-drug interaction would be SSRIs with St. John's wort, but again, it doesn't mean that you have to completely avoid it. So if you're taking medications, go ahead, write that down, and then we'll investigate what the herb-drug interactions are for you. When you're taking medications, typically alcohol doesn't interact well, St. John's wort, and there are some other botanicals. So just reach out if you have questions about the medications you're taking. Watch this video to learn about St. John's wort and if it's the right botanical for you. Number 3, you want to know which herbs to avoid while breastfeeding. So for example, there are some botanicals you can use externally on your breast. When you have cracked nipples or you have pain, mastitis, you may want to use comfrey root externally, and then always wipe off the salve before breastfeeding, of course, but you would never take it internally. So in the description below, I'll leave a list of botanicals you want to avoid while breastfeeding, but keep in mind some of them are not completely harmful. For example, lemon balm, known as the gladdening herb, is on the list but it's just because it makes the breast milk taste slightly different. So in small amounts, you could certainly try lemon balm. It's just in large amounts that it might change the taste of your breast milk. You may also find St. John's wort on that list of herbs to avoid, but some women choose to take it while breastfeeding to overcome postpartum blues and postpartum depression. So it's not that you want to avoid it completely. It's a level 2, level 3. So you just want to be cautious when using it. And we're going to talk about adverse reactions down at the end of this video. So, there is a list of botanicals to avoid, but some of them are okay to take during the breastfeeding years, depending on your unique situation. And keep in mind, especially with St. John's wort, if it's into blended tincture, say there's 5 other botanicals in there or 4 other botanicals, and you're putting it in water, that botanical is very diluted. Now, some women choose to take supplements, but if you're taking it as a tincture, the amount of the botanical that you're getting is less than taking a pill format for that, right? So everything is unique to your body, your circumstances, and what you prefer. Do you prefer taking a supplement, a tincture, or a powdered herb in your drink in the morning? So just keep that in mind, that everything is unique to you and how you prefer to consume botanicals. But I've provided a list below, and just keep in mind that some of the botanicals are not extremely harmful to you. It's just they may change the taste of the milk, or their category of risk is a little bit higher. We're going to talk about that in a moment. Number 4, are the botanicals safe for you? So how do we know? That's a question women ask me all the time. How do you know it's safe for you? There's a few references that I look at. Hale's Medications and Mother Milk. So this talks about more conventional medication. KellyMom.com is a popular website that women turn to when integrating botanicals. Bones and Mills, Principles and Practice of Phototherapy. And I'll leave the links below for you as well, so you can see these herbs. See these books. And then my training was through Dr. Aviva Ram, and she has a book, Botanical Medicine of Women's Health, and the categories, she lists the categories from the German Commission E, which I'll put a description up on the video. So the 2 references I look at is the German Commission E, and then herbal contraindications and drug interactions. So there's 2 books that I reference when I'm looking at the safety of herbal medicine. So Dr. Aviva Ram talks about, in the Botanical Medicine of Women's Health, lactation risk as being L1 safest, no adverse effect observed in infants. L2 safer, limited studies, no increased risk. L3 moderately safe, no controlled studies in breastfeeding women, or controlled studies demonstrated minimal adverse effects. So St. John's wort is in that L3 category, meaning that there's no controlled studies in breastfeeding women, or there were minimal adverse effects. So just keep that in mind. L4 is a possible risk, positive evidence of risk, but benefits may make the risk acceptable. And L5, contraindicated. So there are definitely some that are contraindicated, and you would stay away from those botanicals. Now I have a freebie for you, the postpartum recovery checklist, the ultimate postpartum recovery checklist, and I list all of the herbal remedies that are safe for you during the breastfeeding years. So go ahead, grab that below. So the safest thing to do is, what I tell moms to do is to try one botanical at a time and look for adverse reactions. Now, of course, it depends if you're using a supplement and the quality of that supplement, or if you're using a tincture or teas. I prefer tinctures, and moms have even told me that they've tried a supplement for postpartum depression and didn't have great results, but then when they used the tincture, they did. So your fears about tincture we'll talk about in another video. There is a small amount of alcohol in the tinctures. The amount is minimal. So if you have concerns, let me know in the comment area about using tinctures. So the combination tinctures are ideal because you're combining both, you're combining a bunch of botanicals to soothe your nervous system during the breastfeeding years. But you may want to test one herb at a time just to make sure there's no adverse reactions. What do I mean about adverse reactions? So that means as a breastfeeding mom, you're already very aware of what's going on in your baby, in your body. You know, everything's in high alert right now. So you're looking for your child's skin. Is it changing color? Is it red? Is there any breakouts on them? Are they, you know, in worst case scenario, are they vomiting or diarrhea? Something that is out of the ordinary after you've consumed the tincture and breastfed. So that's what you're looking for. Any allergic reactions if they fall asleep. So an herbalist told a story once, an herbalist I trained with, how she was taking valerian root to relax her nervous system and go to sleep, but she was breastfeeding at the same time, and she looked down and her baby was fast asleep while nursing or like passed out. And that's an example of too much of valerian root not helping the mother sleep, but definitely put the baby to sleep, right? So a blended tincture is a bit safer once you've tested each botanical when you're breastfeeding, just so you know if there's any adverse effects with that botanical. So you're looking to see if your child falls asleep, any skin reactions, anything that looks different after consuming the botanical. That would be an adverse reaction. And of course, worst case scenario is anaphylactics, where they have an allergic reaction to that botanical. But if you've already identified what you and the child's father's allergies are, you should feel comfortable using those botanicals. Now keep in mind, herbal teas are a bit safer, more nourishing, filled with vitamins and minerals, and tinctures are stronger, more potent, and more medicinal. So teas are more nourishing and tinctures are more medicinal. Typically, when your child is 3 months old, their liver is able to process most medications. So moms will ask, when can I start using herbal medicine? You can use it right away if you feel comfortable. You can have a cup of chamomile tea when your baby's just, you know, the day they are born. You can have a cup of tea if that's comfortable to you. You can begin integrating some of the suggestions I've made, and go ahead, look at the playlist Breastfeeding so you can see all of the herbal remedies that I suggest during the breastfeeding years. So today we discussed how to know a botanical is safe. If I've missed anything, please let me know, but you're looking at herbs to avoid, number 1, and herbs to consume based on their class level. I have a handout for you as well, 26 herbal remedies during the breastfeeding years for just $10. I'll leave that link below. And make sure you watch the next video where we talk about the 7 botanicals every breastfeeding mom needs. I'll see you next week. Thank you.